It's that time again, and I'm canning. I've been in the freezer this week, cleaning out the freezer, and I've decided to take food out of the freezer and put it on the shelf. So in today's episode, I'm going to be canning what I had in the freezer. Not everything, but just a few things. And if you'd like to see what those are, stay tuned. I found in the freezer some Italian sausage. Had no idea that was even still in there. I thought all the sausage had been eaten, but I found one pack of Italian sausage. I'm going to be cold packing the Italian sausage, and I had two 3-pound turkey breast roasts in the freezer, and I am going to be raw packing this one packet of turkey breast roast. And if I like how this turns out, then I will can the other one. So let's get started. All of my tools have been washed and cleaned in the dishwasher. I have my gloves over there, and I have my cutting utensils. So I'm going to first start out with the Italian sausage. I'm going to take these casings off and just put this sausage in the jars as is. I'm not going to slice them in any way, shape, or form. I'm just going to take the casings off, put them in the jars, and put them in the canner. So let me show you me doing that. I have two wide mouth jars here. I'm going to use wide mouth for these because I figured it would be easier to get them in the jars. The reason why I'm going to take the casing off is I don't like the casings on sausages. I find them hard to chew, and I just really can't bring myself to swallow them. So I always take the casings off. Now, as I mentioned, these were previously frozen, and I'm just going to take these off. They've been defrosting in the refrigerator. Can you guys see what I'm doing? You can't see what I'm doing. So let me move you all closer to my working surface so you can see what's going on. Hang on one second. I'm just taking that off. So let me move you all closer. Now that we have all that out of the way, I'm just going to take the casings off. As you saw just a moment ago, I just take a small knife. I cut it up the side and release the sausage. Now, like I mentioned, this has been in the freezer, so it's sticking to the casing just a little bit, but that's okay. I'm gonna turn my jar over, trying not to get too much mess everywhere. And what I think I'm going to have to do is maybe I'm going to have to cut these so that it gets a 1-inch headspace. So let me cut these to about a 1-inch headspace, keeping in mind that when you are canning sausage, any sausage, it is going to shrink. It's not going to stay the same height as it is when you cut it and put it in your jar. It's going to make its own juices. You don't have to add any liquid. You just take your sausage out. If your sausage is like this and it has a casing, and you, like myself, don't like the casing, take it off. You don't have to have the casing. Just like so. So I am going to open up these sausages, and I am going to cut them and put them in the jar, just like so. Trying not to get any of the meat on the rims. So let me do that, and I'll be right back. Now that I have both jars filled with my sausage, I am going to take a paper towel and some vinegar and clean off my rims. I want to make sure that I'm not getting any of that meat, oil, or any type of meat transfer onto my rims. I want to make sure that my lids seal. I'm going to be using a different type of lid today, one that I have not used before. I am going to try using a Tattler lid, and I've decided to try to use the Tattler lid on foods that I am going to eat sooner rather than later. I have food that I've been canning that I'm going to eat at a later time, but I also have food that I want to enjoy now. And in order to make good use of my purchases when it comes to lids, I've decided to use a reusable lid such as Tattler. Now this jar, I used the remaining sausage and all the sausage bits, so it's a tiny bit shorter, not as densely packed as this one, but I'm gonna let it ride. I think it will be fine. So let me get my lids. My lids have been soaking in hot water. They need to soak in very hot water. So I'm just gonna place my lid on top like that. Just like that. And place my ring. Let me grab my rings. Have my rings. Rings are always fingertip tight. But with Tattler, you have to give it just a little bit of a snug. These are the easy seals. If I'm not mistaken, let me just double check. Yeah, it says on top, these are the easy seals. So you don't have to wrench them down and then back off. So let me do this one again because this one felt a little weird to me because they are new for me. There we go. Make sure that it's on. It just seems weird. Oh my goodness. Trying something new is not always a pleasant experience. Makes you a little scared, but I'm not gonna fret. There we go. All right, let's get these in the can. Now it's time to work on my turkey. So I am going to release it from its little yellow harness here, just like so. And then I'm going to open up this bag. Cut this metal clip off like so. I knew I felt something weird in there. It's a plastic bag. This has juice in it, so let me make sure that this doesn't get all over the place. The turkey was encased in a elastic covering, like a mesh type of elastic bag, and the turkey itself was surrounded by a liquid. So I just poured that off, and this is skin that I am going to take off because I don't want any skin in there. That's just some turkey skin that I'm going to discard. Over, I have a bag behind me, and looks like it's pretty good. Looks pretty good. So I'm just going to give it a chop up. I'm going to cube it. I don't know exactly how many jars this will make. 3 pounds. It's generally a pound in a pint-sized jar, but I'm going to put this in a 26-ounce jar. So I'm just going to cube this up and see how far this is going to go, and then I will be right back. I have filled one 26-ounce mason jar with my turkey breast roast, and I'm going to take this last piece of roast and see how much of it I can get in this pint-sized jar. So I'm going to cube this up like I have done the 26-ounce jar, and I'll be right back. I have diced my turkey, and now I'm going to place a little bit of bouillon. I don't have any turkey bouillon, and the turkey broth that I made, I didn't make a pint size, so I don't want to open up a quart size just for this process. So I'm going to put a little bit of chicken broth in here, and hopefully it tastes pretty good. So I put 1 teaspoon in the pint size, and I'm going to put a teaspoon and a half in the 26-ounce. And now I'm just going to put in some room temperature water. This is going to be a cold pack because the meat was cold. It was in the refrigerator and the canner is cold. So I am going to put a 1-inch headspace. Try not to make too much of a mess. I am going to debubble, and I totally forgot my debubbler is on the other side of the cabinet, so let me grab that. Got it. All of my tools are clean, and I am loading up the dishwasher as I go because I like to clean as I go, and when I mess with meat, I have to put everything in the dishwasher. I just cannot with meat. So everything is going in the dishwasher. All right, so I believe I'm going to have to put a little bit more water in here, just a smidgen, to get it to a 1-inch headspace, like that. Yep. I'm going to place this funnel over onto that one, and I'm going to place water in here before I take vinegar and wipe the rim. I guess if I take the top off of the water, I'll be able to pour the water. Trying not to go too fast. There we go. I'm going to debubble. And debubbling is just running your debubbling tool or a chopstick or some other plastic utensil down the side of your jars, like so, to make sure that if there are any trapped bubbles in your jar, you can get them out. And so I'm running it along the side, and I'm also taking it down the middle, just like so. All right. That also distributes my bouillon. Ooh, lost my train of thought right quick, y'all. So let me put a little bit more water to get it to a 1-inch headspace, and I'll be right back. My jars are filled. I have my bouillon in there. I've debubbled. I'm going to take my vinegar on a paper towel and run it along the rim. That's making too much noise. Run it along the rim. Still too much noise. Run it along the rim, and there's a little bit of bouillon on there. I can see it. So I'm glad that I am cleaning the rim. And excuse the noise in the background. One of my dogs wants to go outside. I'm going to wipe it again. It seems like every time I'm working in the kitchen, I have my youngest dog wants to grab my attention, make lots of noise, and go outside. All right, so I'm going to clean the other rim, make sure I didn't get any debris on it. Looks good, looks good. All All right, time for my lids and rings, so to speak. Remember, I'm using Tattlers today. My first time using Tattler lids, and like I mentioned, they have been sitting in hot water. So let me get my bands. All right, I have my bands. I want to make sure these are on properly. And there we go. Make sure that they're seating properly. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. And in the canner they go. So let's go to the stove. Remember, the canner is cold. I'm gonna take my rocker off because I don't need it right now. What I've done is made sure that the bottom, I'm gonna show you all, make sure that this is secure and it's not coming loose, because if this comes loose, your canner will not come up to pressure. That happened to me in one of my canning sessions and it was a nightmare. I've made sure that I can see through my vent hole. I am using my 16-quart canner today. I already have 3 quarts of water inside. I did put a little bit of vinegar in here as well to make sure that the jars don't get cloudy and look all ugly. I do have hard water where I live, so I took care of that. My canner is properly seated on the stove. You have to make sure that the center of your pot is in the center of your eye. That way you have equal distribution of heat. I am using a gas stove, so I just like to make sure that it is seated properly. But if you're using an electric stove and you're using this type of canner, please make sure that the base of your canner, that part that is not flat onto your stove, it has a raised portion. Make sure that is seated properly on your heating element. I believe that is like an 8-inch circle diameter on the bottom right in the center. That has to sit on your heating element that's roughly 8 inches. Okay, so make sure that if your stove can accommodate this type of canner, that you're seating it properly. Do not try to sit your entire canner base on your heating element. That's not how this particular canner works. Again, this is a Presto 16 quart, and it has a center part of the base that is raised. It's about 8 inches, and then you have about 1.5 inches to 2 inches along the edge diameter that's flat. Don't worry about the flat piece. Keep the center raised portion in the center of your eye. I hope that makes sense. If you need me to show you what that looks like, let me know in the description box and I will make a video, just a short tutorial on how to seat your Presto canner, be that 16-inch or 23 quart or 16 quart, on your stove, no matter if your stove is gas or electric, either glass or coil. Just let me know and I'll be more than happy to show you what I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna get my jars in my canner. Don't forget, today I am canning my turkey from out of the freezer, as well as some Italian sausage, and I am using my Tattler lids. This ring seems like it's not seated properly. I'm gonna double check that. Maybe it's just my imagination. Nope, it looks the same. I'm gonna double check that one just in case. I want to make sure that my rings are seating properly. Since this is the first time I am using Tattler, I want to do this right. It looks like it is, but I'm not sure. I think maybe I'll just get another ring just to make sure this one is seating properly, because it looks a little strange to me. Then again, maybe not. If you can see, the ring is sitting flush on the lid. Can you see that? But it just feels weird to me. I don't know. On this side, they have like an indentation. Can you all see that? There's an indentation right in here. So this is my first time trying these. We'll see. It looks like it's the same diameter all the way around here as the one that's in the canner. So, I'm I'm gonna leave it. I guess I'm just a little nervous, but that's okay. I'm gonna put these in here. Now I have 4 jars of meat tonight. I am going to place another jar in here just filled with water so that these don't rattle around. So let me grab that, just any old random jar. I would grab a 32-ounce mason jar, but I'm just gonna grab an old pickle jar and stick it in there. If you have an old jar of pickles that you used up, you can fill that with water and stick that in there too. You don't have to have a mason jar. I use an old pickle jar. Actually, I totally forgot. I used the old pickle jar and I put some food in it as a storage jar. So this is an old jar that I bought sauerkraut in when I used to buy sauerkraut from the store. So I am just going to it has water in it. I'm going to place it in my canner to make sure that my jars are not rattling around, and I'm going to close this up. I actually have room for another one, so I will put another one in here. I will close this up and get it ready to start coming up to pressure. Now that my empties are in the canner, I'm going to put my lid on, turn on the heating element for the eye. I always have problems with my lid, y'all. I still can't figure this thing out. I'm going to push down. I've already oiled my, oh, that's hard. I've already oiled my gasket. Hope you guys saw that. My gasket, I oiled it a little bit. So it shouldn't be hard to close, but it is for me sometimes. And then I swing it around like that. So you press down and turn. Not always the easiest thing if you have dexterity problems, but don't fret, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Like that. Down and close. So now it's time to turn on the stove. I'm going to turn it on high, and then I'm going to let it come up to pressure, and you know I will be right back. The turkey breast is done, or the turkey breast roast is done. The Italian sausage links are done processing, and it's time to call it a night or early morning for me, because I've been at this for quite a while. I want to thank you for watching my video today. If you like this content, do me a favor. Hit that like button, share this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. I appreciate all who watch my channel, subscribed and unsubscribed. So until the next video, I'll see you either in the kitchen or in the garden real soon. Bye for now.